Hey, it's Matt Pinfield here at KLOS. It's new and approved, and I've got Gavin Rossdale today, and he is down on the beach in Malibu. Gavin, good to see you, man. Thanks for making the
Hey,
time.
yeah. New and improved. I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's really good to see you. Well, we've been playing a lot of Bush from the very beginning of the show now, and this is week 18, so it's and the show's doing very well. So I'm really happy to
Nice,
have you on the show. Gavin, it's cool.
nice.
It's been an incredible year, of course, and one of the records that we featured and said was one of the albums and songs that got us through the pandemic was The Kingdom. Certainly, the album was incredible. You did that record with Tyler Bates. A lot of the stuff. I want to talk to you about that. Can you tell me about the concept of The Kingdom, Gavin, and the song itself?
That song itself, I love. It's the most beautiful job in the world to write songs, and you take from the air, you take from the zeitgeist around you, and you know, we've been seeing a lot of issues with social injustices for a long time since Rodney King. So somehow it was just I'd written "This Is War" from Black and White Rainbows, and that was inspired by Charlottesville. I just couldn't believe that there was such a huge right wing side that would gather sort of proudly. So I was inspired by that, and just felt the need for us to, I don't know, come together as people and be better. So it's weird because you write these songs, you don't know what they are, but then they have like a prophecy about them that takes control and takes over the song. It's cool.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, certainly, and the song's done really well. Well, when you made the album, I mean, one of the first things that you were working on was the track that you did for the John Wick 3 soundtrack, Bullet Holes, which was a great song, super heavy. We love that track. And I want to talk to you about working with Tyler Bates, because Tyler Bates, of course, has been doing film scores and working on TV shows for years, but he's done so many movies, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy or, Devil's Rejects. What's that?
5 billion. He's done five. He's been involved with movies that have made $5 billion.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I mean, So tell me about the relationship that you had and with Keanu Reeves to make the track when they asked you to do Bullet Holes for
Well, I
John
was
Wick 3.
Pilot. Peter Katzis, my manager, who you know very well, my guru. He was just wanting me to just maybe write a film song with Tyler, but basically get me into the studio with Tyler when I would traditionally, as written all the songs myself. And it's an interesting thing. I had like 3 lunches with him before we got in the studio, and we just really get along and live close and are connected. And so we just have a very telepathic system, and we jam for a couple of hours together. Then I go away and I put some top lines, and I come back and sing them. And then he does great music, and we're done. It's a really fun process. And let's not forget that I have the benefit of Chris Trainer, Corey Britz, Nick Hughes. Just amazing musicians that can take whatever I've worked on with Tyler, whatever, anything. I mean, Chris is like a virtuoso. So it's just a beautiful confluence of people. Tyler is incredible, and Chris is absolutely incredible. Corey's incredible. So I'm really lucky. I'm just really smart, because one of my smartest things I've ever done is just make sure I'm surrounding myself with really good people.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about, Chris Trainer is just one of the greats when it comes to playing the guitar and everything that he does.
He's fantastic. And he's a beautiful person. He's like my brother. And, he cares so much. He's so diligent, cares so much. He's slightly mental. He keeps changing his sound every time we make a record. His sound's always perfect, so I don't understand. He's in a rabbit hole with that stuff, but that's guitar players for you, Either Tom Morello, who's fantastic, has had one sound forever, or you have Chris, who just changes sounds all the time, never satisfied, And they're both great, so that's it.
It's amazing. So, I mean, that record, it really blew people away because it was a very heavy record, but it had a lot of really cool subject matter in it as well. And, but you've been off the road. I know you were going to actually go to Australia and play. You were supposed to go down there. Stone Temple Pilots were going to play, Cheap Trick Live, a bunch of other people. And that tour got pushed back, obviously, because of COVID.
Right.
which was a bummer. But you are booking some new shows right now. I just saw that they announced Rock am Ring for next year and some other ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even see that stuff. It's like so
Yeah.
far away. I mean, I saw someone post that. So should I repost it? It's like, the fuck's the point of that? It's like in a year's time.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's like,
Let's
yeah,
save that post. Let's save that post.
which is pretty funny. It's amazing. You know, Gavin, I meet people all the time. I meet young musicians who tell me that the album that made them want to pick up an instrument was 16 Stone. And we're going back all the way to 1994, your album that sold 6 million copies plus right here in America. The songs still absolutely hold up. And you still enjoy playing those songs. And I also have to ask you, do you find young musicians coming up to you and telling you, or people that you know, some of these other up-and-coming bands, how much that record meant to them?
Yeah, it's a very humbling, beautiful thing, because I get approached most days by somebody who's been affected by the music or the band in some way. And it's the greatest compliment ever, because, you know, we don't know where the music goes. You know, we just make it, we hit and hope, you know. And so when you come across people that have been really deeply moved by a lyric, by a guitar, by a, you know, thing of music, a lot of guys who like Glycerine was the first song that made them realize you didn't have to go heavy on every song. Whatever. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you know, the songs belong to everyone. And I find them really transportable. Like, I didn't write Come Down. I don't sing Come Down the next time, you know, about 1994. I sing it about what's going on in my life at that moment. So the songs are really easy to stay super fresh. And I don't have that thing of disowning the songs that bought this T-shirt. You know, I'm really grateful to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are, like I said, those records still hold up in an incredibly big way. Now, one of the things that you were doing during the pandemic, which was really cool, was recently shooting that show No Cover that I was involved with as well, where you were a judge on that. And that was not the first time. You were, I think you and Alice Cooper were the most experienced that were there that day, because, you know, obviously you'd done a competition show in the UK, or you're originally from. Did you have fun shooting No Cover with all those young up-and-coming artists?
I didn't know what to expect, and I had an amazing time. I absolutely loved the other judges. Beautiful people. Tosin Abassi, I'm making him be my friend now because he's really cool. And you got Alice Cooper, who's just a legend, an incredible man, beautiful, gentle man. And we've got, you know, Bishop Bridges, this wonderful singer, beautiful singer, really smart, opinionated, strong girl, you know, so it was good to have her perspective. And then, of course, we had the amazing Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, who's an incredible guitar player, singer, human being, and Joe, her boyfriend, was basically taking pictures and getting the tequila in.
Yeah, so it was a good time. And I thought
the crew was great. Everyone was great. I had no problem. The guy on the door getting in and out, he was a little bit strict, but I warmed him up. He was the only one that was a little bit weird at first.
He was a little hardcore. He really was. And for those people watching it,
yeah, it was like Secret Service. I was like, dude, relax. I've been vaccinated.
he was uptight, definitely, every single time. When he saw somebody smoking there, he was like, go stand over there. I quit 10 years ago. It was unbelievable. It was very militant, but otherwise it was an incredible experience. And I think people will be really excited to see you on the show, because
I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, there were some beautiful bands on there. I was trying to be honest, but constructive. And I don't know if you know, you never know how you come across or how you're going to be edited. And I just wanted to be genuine, you know. And so sometimes you got to be honest, and you can say it in a nice way, but I hope I don't come across as mean or anything like that. You know, I was trying to be just honest. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you were, and I think it helped a lot of people. And you know, when I was doing the interviews after the bands would play, and you guys would give them your feedback, many of those young artists would come to me and say, I got some really great advice from Gavin Rossdale, man. It was really cool. So it meant a lot to them. And for those people watching, it's a show that will have a home soon. Right now it's in the editing process, but it's called No Cover, and it's a show, it's a rock music competition show with artists that only do original songs. So it's really cool.
It's really hard because, you know, the trouble is you can get a kid, like there were a few bands where, for example, you get the guitar player who's had the opportunity to practice the guitar since he's like 10 or 11 years old, you know? And by the time he's like, they're out on the stage, there's a couple of 16-year-old bands. really amazing guitar player. I mean, completely derivative, but an incredible guitar player, like way better than me. Really, really good playing wise. But the singer had not caught up because he's 16 as well. He's got nothing to say. He's not interesting yet, you know? So it's like, find a way to be interesting. You know, I said, you know, consider Billie Eilish, who I think is just the most extraordinary talent to have emerged in the last few years. And I'm just in awe of her. I think she's just so special, magical. Her and her brother Phineas. I just think they're the most interesting pair of people making music today, right now. Most interesting pair. Staggeringly interesting. And those guys, you know, if they want to care about music and really give a shit about being successful and getting to you and getting to the audiences, they got to find out what's inside. That's all I kept on saying. Like, be yourself. Stop being other people. Be yourself. Be yourself. So that was the main thrust of the show for me, was like finding individual voices. And we did find some.
Yeah, absolutely you did. So I think people will enjoy the show when they finally do see it.
Is it on Amazon Live?
Yeah, it will be, you know, sometime soon. I wanted to just say also, Gavin, like I said, we mentioned earlier, we love the album. I got to work on a live stream with you, with the band. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was fun, that live stream.
It was really, really great. And it was so much fun. Tell me about, I mean, I know that you've been, you know, taking care of family, you know, with your children. You've been doing a lot of cooking at home and you know, just the things you got to do when you're on lockdown, because you got to find.
The kids got to eat.
Absolutely. And, you know, I know that, would you say that you've become a pretty good chef at this point? Like, you know, with by necessity, or was it by design?
It's a strange fetish of mine. I love to cook. And so I just always cook. I'm a bit weird like that. Not weird like that. I think maybe it's a European thing. Like, I don't order in so much. I think the kids, when they're not with me, tend to order in a lot. And then when we're with me, we have these, like, it's a real European part of the culture to sit and have long dinners and lots of choices of food and drink and just have a good time like that. And that's been a beautiful way to just stay connected with my kids. I mean, the best thing about me and my kids is the connection, you know, like I'm really like at the hip with them, you know, and I make them good people. That's it.
Yeah.
They're funny and polite. After that, I don't care. They can be anything. Just be funny and be polite. And I think you go far.
I think it's great. That's good advice for your kids and for other parents. No question about it. Gavin, have you? I know it's because it's kind of a different situation when you're home and everybody's life was uprooted and changed in such a different way during this past year and during the pandemic. Did you actually take any time to do any writing and work on any music during this period of time? Because of course,
yeah, I have begun writing the next record. And that's it. Actually, when I was during the pandemic, I decided to do some. The only academic thing is I did a lot of guitar classical studies, just to try that, little pieces, just to play it, and you start seeing all the links between Rossini and Tool. You know? Yeah. You see music and you see these arpeggios they play, and it's really interesting. So that's what I did that, and I had a bunch of books. I finished some, didn't finish others, watched a bunch of movies, but I don't know, just took the time to just really enjoy my kids and just enjoy not traveling. It's the first time in 25 years I didn't travel everywhere. So it was pretty extraordinary for that, not to be on a plane. You know, I haven't been on a plane in over a year. That's like, I don't know, that was since 1993, that is, 94.
Yeah, I mean, you're gone. I mean, you're literally traveling nonstop.
A flight. I was not being I was like, it's okay. And I was just so lucky that we stayed healthy. So many people struggling, so many people dying, ill. My friends got ill because I've had friends who died. So you just shut your mouth and keep quiet and wait till they figure out how to get us safe. And we're coming into that zone now, you know?
Which is a good thing. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting out on stage again. Because, I mean, during that live stream.
Honestly, I'm so grateful to everything that I'm today. You know, I love being on the show. I just came to the beach. And it's enough for the day. I'm not craving and hanging on to. It's going to happen. I think September is when they're looking at playing in America. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to it, you know, Gavin. And I'm excited about it.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to burst into tears and fall on the stage. You actually have no idea how much I want to play and how I wanted my old life back. But at the same time, when people have died and the pandemic has been this real and this horrific and continues to, blight India and stuff like that, and you can't talk about feeble things like wishing you were on stage. It makes no sense. You just need to keep quiet, just wait until the time is right.
Yeah, and that'll be great. Well, we look forward to when you do. I'm really excited. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, Gavin. It was so good to see you.
I was always going to do it. I got to tell the audience, you slid into my DMs. I think that's reserved for chicks. I looked at my DMs today. There's Matt in there.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm like, I wanted to make sure you got the message. I wanted you to do the show. There you go. That's pretty funny, isn't it?
Work it out. I was like, well, oh look, there's a girl called Matt Pinfield writing me. Oh shoot, it's not a girl.
Well, you know what's really funny? How ridiculous is it how many times we've hung out, we've been friends all these years, and I realized I didn't have your cell number in my phone. I'm like, why don't I have Gavin's cell number?
Your fault. Plus, I got a new one. I had a stalker, so I had to get a new cell.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure I have it for next time, so I don't have to bother your socials.
Guys,
what's that?
The guys get stalkers too.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember. Between you and guys like you and Chris Cornell, I know for a fact. But Gavin, it's so good to see you, man. And I want to say thank you for coming on the show. It's great to have you on.
I love KLOS. Frank, all the guys over there. It's really good people.
Absolutely.
Heidi, right?
Yeah, Heidi. Yeah, and of course Keith Cunningham, the PD, and Sluggo, everybody, Marcy, and Kevin. Great group of people. And all big fans of yours. We're huge fans of yours here. And I
went to Frank's. I did Frank's virtual 50th on a Zoom.
Oh, did you? How was that? Was it fun?
It's funny because I did the show in the day, and then it was like they invited me for the Zoom. I don't think they ever expected I would come, and I totally showed up. And it's fun, great people. It's good fun.
I'm sure he was psyched, when he saw that you were there. He was probably surprised and pumped about it.
He's a lot more manly than I am, and he was on. He was working the rum.
Yeah, that's great. I'd love to see a playback of that. Well, listen, Gavin, it's great to see you, and I'll definitely be catching up with you soon, man. Thanks for taking the time to check in from the beach.
Anytime. Thanks, brother.
You got it. Great to see you, Gavin.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
All right, you take care, Gavin. Thanks so much. Gavin Rossdale, right here on KLOS, is new and approved. I'm Matt Pinfield. Thank you so much for joining us.